Hi everyone, welcome to Backyard Homestead. Today we're going to be canning some homemade dog food, and we're going to make it in this roaster oven. So I've got the tall camera or tall tripod, and we're going to try using it today, and hopefully everything will go good. um, so we're going to cook it all in the roaster first, and then pressure can. Um, and I do add brown rice to mine. So, oh, sorry, there's a hair on my nose or something. So, if you don't want to add brown rice to your dog's food, you don't have to. I kind of adapted this recipe a little bit from Dr. Jones' recipe, and he adds brown rice to his, and he's a veterinarian. So, this is not a vet approved recipe. And because we are canning it with the rice, it is considered a rebel canning because they say don't can rice, but I've canned stuff with rice and it's just fine. So we're going to cook everything first. I've got 2 whole pumpkins left that I grew last season, and they're sitting in here in a crate in my kitchen, and I've got to use them up. So it's time. Also, they're going to go bad if I don't cut into them and use them. So we're going to do that. We're going to put those pumpkins in. I'm going to use 10 pounds of ground turkey. And so when I usually make it, I'll make it in the crock pot and I just freeze it in like portions. But I canned it one time and the dogs love it. They went crazy. I don't know, maybe canning it gave it like extra flavor. I'm not sure, but they loved it. So, and I also thought, well, what if the freezer goes out or power goes out? We have an emergency or something, which just happened 2 weeks. No, it's been less than 2 weeks ago. Our the wind, it was so crazy here. It gets very windy in the desert if you don't know that, but it was like a tornado, and it was about 3:30 in the afternoon. All of a sudden, let me turn you guys this way here. All of a sudden I hear this snap, or it sounded like almost like corrugated metal, like flying through the air and hitting the telephone pole. And I hear this whap, and power's out instantly. And it was like 3:30 in the afternoon. They couldn't, like, when we reported the outage. So let me go back for a sec. It's right behind our house. So it only ended up affecting our house and the ones behind us on the street behind us. So the rest of our whole block had power, and we're like, "What? Why do they have no? Why do they have power and we don't?" So, anyways, they came out right away when I called and reported it, and it was so windy, it was too dangerous for them to get out there and check it out. So they came out, looked at it. Then, like about 10 p.m., another vehicle came out. His lights were flashing and stuff. And he was out there for about 15 minutes. And then that was it. He left, and we're like, hey, like we still have no power. And by then the wind had died down a bit, but it wasn't like super calm. But I know that they had to call in a crew, obviously, because something bad happened. We didn't know how bad at the time. And then I finally get to sleep like 2:15 a.m. because I couldn't sleep. I guess no power. I even had my phone on the rain app, but I just couldn't sleep. And we have 2 generators and a Blue Eddy solar generator. So we were using the solar generator for our kitchen fridge, and we didn't really worry about the garage fridge or the freezers because we weren't opening them. And I thought, well, it says they'll have it back on, but it said they would have it back on by like noon the next day. So I was starting to worry a little, but we could always just take the Blue Eddy out there and plug them in. Anyways, back at the story. So 3 a.m., They finally show up with 5 trucks in the empty lot next to us, and they've got their lights flashing. They had the brightest spotlight I ever seen in my life. And of course my dogs started going nuts. They were like, what is going on? There's flashing lights. They had 5 trucks out there. Like 7 a.m. I take the puppy, no, 6 a.m. because I still had to go to work. I take the puppy out to go potty, and I could see them all right there over our fence, even though the fence is 6 feet tall. But they're like right there. And they had to replace the pole. They had this giant chain thing and this crane thing, and they were like doing the pole, like lifting the pole up to get it into the ground. And at this point, it's like 6 o'clock, so I'm getting ready to feed the puppy her breakfast, get ready for work. And like I look over and they got this giant pole. I never realized like how big they are in person, like right there in front of you. But anyways, so they replaced the pole. My husband was off that day, so he said the power didn't get on till about noon. So it took a long time, but I just thought, for emergencies, or we run out, or we don't have, it's a good idea to freeze some and can some, so we have it shelf stable. That's a good thing about canning it, is it's totally shelf stable. You don't have to worry. It can just sit on your shelf in the pantry. So I'm hoping we get at least 7 quart jars, so I can make 1 quart jar last 4 days. Because my dogs also eat kibble. They eat a very high-end skin and coat kibble. And then Daisy, the Yorkie, has to have a prescription diet. When we rescued her, she had a giant bladder stone filling up her whole bladder. Like, basically, she was close to death. And so we had it removed, and she had the surgery and everything, but she has to be on the Royal Canin urinary stuff food for life. And it's $100 a bag and $100 a case for the cans. But we don't care. You know what? We'll spend whatever for her because we love her so much. And then the new puppy, Tiffy, she eats, it's called Raw Rev. She eats this one. Wellness Core Raw Rev. And it's a puppy food. And it also has little pieces of raw, freeze-dried raw turkey in it. And she loves it. And then she also gets a half a pouch of this Royal Canin puppy, which I like these because they're little chunks and not the pate kind. Ugh. The pate dog food just grosses me out. Okay, so let's get on with this. I'm going to lower it down so you guys can see the roaster pan and what I'm doing. And hopefully it doesn't blow the breaker because I have the cooler going. So we just got a new roof. And out here in the desert, we use what's called a swamp cooler or evaporative cooler. So since we just got a new roof, the cooler is not back up on the roof. And hopefully it will be in the next week or two. But it's been in the 90s, so we have 2 portable evaporative coolers, and we just put one in the kitchen window, one in our bedroom window, and it's helping to keep the house cool. But it's on the same circuit as the garage fridge, freezer, and then all of these are on that circuit too. Even though we have an updated panel, it blows the breaker sometimes. So fingers crossed, when I turn this roaster pan, it doesn't blow the breaker. And I'm going to only turn it to like probably 200. And if it does blow the breaker, then I'll have to turn off the cooler and it'll probably get hot in here. At least it's not as hot today because the wind's blowing and stuff. So, but yesterday it was like 95, so a little warm in the kitchen. All right, so I'm going to see, let's see. We'll lower you guys down so you can see the actual roasting pan and what I'm doing. Okay, on. Okay, let's hope. All right, let's see. I might have to lower you guys a tiny bit more. Let's see, how's that? Oh yeah, perfect. Okay, so you can see exactly what's going on here. First, I'm going to spray it because this is like the cheapest roaster pan, and see how it's got stuff stuck inside? And I spray it every time. Let's see, where's my spray? Just going to spray it with a little avocado oil. Uh-oh. Did it already pop the breaker? No, because the cooler's still on. Stupid thing. It's supposed to spray and not be a big stream. I'm just trying to cover it all. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go grab the ground turkey, and we're going to start with the ground turkey. I've got some paper towels because I know my hands are going to get yucky. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and try to turn her up. Maybe to like 250. You get a knife. Now I've had these thawing in my fridge for 2 days, so they should be good to go. And this is just the cheapy full ground turkey. Fridge out there is super cold. Okay. So what I add to mine is pumpkin. And lately, the last like 6 months, we've been adding all our homegrown pumpkins. Homegrown organic blue Jardel pumpkins. And man, do those make the best pumpkin bread. If you're a fan of pumpkin bread, let me get over here where it's softer. If you're a fan of pumpkin bread and you like to grow the blue Jardels. They make a wonderful pumpkin bread. They just, I don't know, it's the flavor of them. It's wonderful. Okay. This is so gross. Oh, God. It squirted at me. Nasty. I already hate ground turkey. So I'm a person who definitely could never eat this. Just the smell of it when I'm making the dogs their food. And this is like the cheapy stuff, of course. It's not turkey breast by any means. But, oh, it stinks. I can't stand it. Okay, there's the first 5 pounds. It has a weird smell, and I don't like it at all. So, yeah, I'm not a fan. I'll take beef any day over turkey. I'm putting the blood in there, too. Not worrying about that. It's all going to get cooked. And then it's going to pressure can, so won't matter. Last time I made it, I did 15 pounds of meat, but I didn't have enough rice, and it still came out really good. It was just less rice that I usually use. Ooh, this blood. I don't want it on me. Gross. Okay. And I'm going to pressure can it in quarts because I've got, 3 dogs that eat it, and Daisy still eats it. Sometimes she'll eat that or some with her dry, and sometimes she'll eat the prescription can because we get her the prescription dry and can. And I haven't researched on taking her off of it. We're just following the veterinarian's advice to keep her on it. Oh, I missed one. Looks like I missed one. Well, how many do we have there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, I did miss one. Yuck. Okay. The dogs are going to be... Woo! Oh, God, that just splattered on me. Okay, let me wash my hands. Gross. I'm going to use my alcohol spray. So today we're actually going to add a new ingredient that we have not added before, but I know the dogs are going to love it. And that is broccoli slaw. So here's what I add to it. I add a tiny bit of salt. And I know they say that dogs shouldn't have salt, but I'm using the Redmond's real salt, and I just do a little bit, and it gives them some minerals that are in the salt. So if it's regular iodized table salt, I would say no. The Redmond salt is a beautiful pink salt, and we're just going to do a little sprinkling of it. It's not for flavor, it's for the minerals. So, just so you guys know that for next time. And you don't have to put the salt. If you're scared of your dogs having salt, then don't put it. And I don't put any other herbs, but parsley is a good one for their breath. Is shredded carrots, like these, organic shredded carrots. Well, they don't have to be organic, but these ones are. I add spinach, that's frozen chopped spinach. This time we're going to add broccoli slaw. And it's got broccoli, carrots, and cabbage. I saw another, it wasn't a video, but another lady, I think it was on Pinterest, she was saying that she adds broccoli slaw to her dog's food and that they love it. So, I hope there's no blood all over me. Every time, gotta wash my aprons every time. Okay, I'm gonna get the chopper thingy. So we'll bring you back down. Let's get the chopper and get this chopped up. So usually to 2 pounds of meat. So when I make it in the crock pot, I'll do 2 pounds of meat. And then I'll add 1 cup. Or do I add 2 cups? I think I add like a cup and a half of the brown rice. So for this 10 pounds of meat, I'm thinking I'll add 5 cups of brown rice. Ooh, burnt myself. But I'm not sure. Because I don't want to do too much rice because we're canning it. So I'm thinking I'll do 5 cups for 10 pounds of meat. This one's still frozen. That one too. They'll unfreeze. We're not going to worry. Now I am going to add some water. This helps cook them faster. Chop it all up. And we'll go back in and chop it again after it gets all cooked down a bit. Oh, it's already smelling. Blech. I hate the smell of ground turkey. It's disgusting to me. Okay, so we're going to add 5 cups of brown rice. We're going to need 10 cups of water. So that's what we will add now. The other stuff cooks quickly, like the carrots and everything. This will also heat up and the meat will just cook way faster. So there's 8. And 2 more. All right. I'm going to put the lid on and let that cook. Okay. So next, oh my gosh, this puppy. She's like under my feet. Okay, you know what, baby? I'm going to put you in your pen for now. You are just, look at her. You guys, she's grown so much. Can't even see my face. I need a new ponytail. Hi, I'm Tiffy. And look how big I am now. Don't be scared. Mama no drop you. Oh my God. Mama will never drop you. All right. Putting her in her pen. She is under my feet. And I don't want to step on her. So this guy is about ready to be rotten. It's been sitting a while, lost most of its color. So we got to get these pumpkins cut into anyways. So it was a perfect day to do this. And oh my God, I hate cutting pumpkins. These suckers are, I'll tell you what, it's a lot easier with the new knife. Just going to cut it in sections like this so they'll be easier to come apart. Okay, let's turn her over. See where we're at here. We don't want to cut into the stem. I hate cutting pumpkins. I always feel like I'm going to slip and cut my freaking fingers off or hands off because I'm totally not being safe. Oh, yay, look at it. It's still nice and orange inside. Okay. Now I'm going to give the chickens all these inside parts. We've learned that helps get rid of worms and parasites in your chickens. And that most chickens love it. Mine are so spoiled. My husband spoils them with too many soldier worms and all that. Soldier fly larvae, which they absolutely love, but then they don't want to eat other stuff. So they're very picky now. But I told them, don't give them no treats for a few days so that they'll eat this. And like I said, it's really good for them. We'll cut that part off for the compost. Oh yeah, I need a thing for I need another one for compost. I need 3 bowls. One for us, one for compost. It smells so good. It smells like a cantaloupe almost. Okay, how am I going to fit this? Got this butter here because I was going to make some southern tea cakes, which will be coming up. I haven't made them yet. So I just chop them in little tiny chunks because I have small dogs. About like that. And my dogs love pumpkin. My husband called. So I've found that the best way to get the skin, I like to just hold them up and do it like that. But you need a real sharp knife because it is thick. And we want to save as much of the meat as possible. So I'll just do them like that. Dogs can have that. Okay. Just get the skin off. Like so. And I've got 2 pumpkins. That was the bigger one, I believe, was it? Yeah. The other one is in better shape. But this one's not rotten inside or anything. So we're going to go ahead and use it up. Almost cut through my fingernail. And this knife is sharp enough to do it, let me tell you. So I kind of just do it like that, little chunks. Now, bigger dogs, you don't have to do this. And my dogs probably would eat bigger chunks. They don't care. They love pumpkin. They'll eat it right out of the can. Careful, careful. Like I said, this knife is very sharp. Always want to brush downward. It's just so sharp. If you barely touch your finger on it, it will cut you. I know this. Have cutting myself. This one's thin. I'm just going to swoop. Should have got the bigger cutting board. So I usually use about a cup of pumpkin. Or, yeah, a cup of pumpkin for each batch. Maybe it's 2 cups. I don't know. But we're just going to use most of this pumpkin because, like I said, it needs to get used up. Give all this to the chicks. Now, one thing about these blue pumpkins, they don't have a lot of stringy stuff. So I'm trying to get enough for the chickens. Because last time our eggs were looking real dirty and yucky. And we're new to chicken owning. I looked it up on YouTube or on Pinterest and said if your eggs were that they should be clean, and if they're dirty, then your chickens probably have parasites. which was like, ew. So, and I didn't want to do a like ivermectin. You could, but I thought, you know what, let's try it naturally. And so last batch of dog food I made and had to cut open one of these pumpkins, gave it to the chicks, and the eggs have been clean ever since. But I noticed today that one egg was dirty. So it's like, okay, maybe time. And it's getting warm now, so there's more flies. We even have an automatic fly sprayer thing because I don't want them all over my back patio. And the chickens are pretty. They're not right up to, they're right under our tree, but it's not too far from the patio. So I do not want all those flies everywhere. And my husband is like diligent about cleaning their coop. He cleans their coop every single week. So at least he does that. Not at least, he does a lot. And he works so hard. He works like, I don't know, 10 to 14 hours, 6 days a week. So he's working a lot. And now that it's getting hot, he's a mail carrier. There is, in our town, they have no AC in the mail trucks. And it's, 112 here most of the summer. So not fun. He has a long, hot day. And the mail trucks get up to about 130, 140 degrees, no problem inside. So it's actually like torture. I don't know how they can do it and get away with it. I don't think it's fair. Same with poor UPS guys. I mean, those brown UPS trucks are so hot. I think, though, they finally won, and they're going to get AC. I just don't know when. And supposedly all of USPS is supposed to get new vehicles, but who knows? They got this government contractor to build these crazy vehicles that just another waste of money, you guys. They could have just went with like those little tiny Ford vans, those new Ford vans, those little small transit ones. Those would have been perfect. And they have AC. I mean, the government doesn't always make wise decisions with our tax dollars. And USPS is funded. They're fully funded. So they're actually, even though they're government, they make their own money. All right, we still got all that to cut, and I'm tired of standing here. Now you guys get what I'm doing here. I'm not going to make you watch all of it. I'll pause, and we'll be back when it's all cut. Okay, just making sure my mic is on. Let's lower you guys down a little. We're going to move in as close as we can. All right, it's been cooking for about an hour. So it's got lots of liquid. Chad, maybe you could do this for me. Chop this meat smaller. See how it needs chopping?
Sure.
You got way better wrists than I do. I'm recording. Okay, I'm going to let my husband take over, and he can get it all chopped small.
Ground turkey?
Ground turkey, yes. Okay. And while you're doing that, the camera's on you, see? Yeah. We'll chop it up a little smaller, like, our dogs are little. Our dogs will eat them. Daisy's already found. The puppy's chewing on a piece right now, but it has the end on it. What do they call it? The rind.
We'll find anything that swells. Both of them. I can't get this to go smaller.
Well, just, small enough.
I mean, it got a little bit smaller.
It's easier if you chop, like, straight down.
Right. And they torque spin it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just too much liquid for this thing to work.
Oh, some of it was still a little frozen from the fridge. It's been out there for days.
It's amazing that the dogs like this meat so much, and it stinks so bad when you're standing above it.
Oh, it's disgusting.
It's gnarly.
I would never eat that.
It's not fit for you to eat.
A lot of people buy it. They think that it's healthier. And it actually has just as much fat as ground beef, because that's not just the breast.
Right.
And that actually has more. I was reading something about it. It has more like unsaturated fat, or more saturated fat.
Yeah, I heard that too about any kind of poultry.
So it's actually. Actually, the ground beef would be healthier, is what they were saying. I don't know if it's true or not.
Okay.
I just know I don't. As bad as it smells for the dogs, I'm just not. I don't like it.
I love it. It's amazing.
Yeah. Chimpo smelled it. That's why he's awake now. I'm going to see how many cups we've got here. And we're going to go ahead and add it. Ew, look at the ugly color of it. Ugh. Okay. Get our 1 cup measure. Actually, first I should add the rice before I add the pumpkin. Let's do that. And let me get a big spoon. A few big chops. Whoops. All right, now Chimpo's under my feet along with the puppy and Daisy. Let's give it a few. It is harder with this liquid. Well, once I add the rice, we could chop again once the rice cooks in a little. That's what we'll do. This sucker's heavy. Okay. I've got my brown rice. And as I said, for about 2 pounds of meat, I usually do 1.5 cups, but I think today we'll do 1. So that would make 5 cups, and we'll see how it goes. I think 5 will be plenty because we are going to can this, so we don't want too much rice. Let's stir it in and see. Put our lid back on. Let's give it a good stir in. Yeah, I think this will be plenty of rice. Now I want to make as many quart jars as I possibly can, which is, I mean, really the rice is a filler, but it also has some vitamins in it. According to Dr. Jones, he says that it has, I believe he said vitamin A. It was had lots of protein. I'm going to add 2 more cups just because I think it needs a little more. If I was doing 1.5 cups for each 2 pounds, then it would be like another 2.5 cups. So we'll do that. There, we'll do 1/2. Okay. There we are. Now we can refill this sucker. Let's set it over here out of the way. And let's get our 1 cup measure. And we'll add the pumpkin and see how much I've chopped so far. I still got a little bit left to chop. It takes forever to get the skin off and chop it up. Okay, so there's the, ooh, splattering. Hopefully the mic's still on and everything. I gotta always remember to check that because I don't always check, and then one of my videos had no sound for part of it. Okay, so we're probably gonna have to add, what do we add? 2.5, so we need to add about 5 more cups of liquid. So let's do that real quick. I'm just gonna use this 1 cupper. So 1 and 5. Okay. Now that's like 15 cups of liquid, and what did we put? 7.5 cups of rice. So perfect. We're going to give it all a stir. Okay. Now, when you're feeding your dog, you could also add some cooked eggs, give them more protein. You can also grind up the eggshells and turn it into a calcium powder. I wouldn't add that, and you add it once you're feeding them. Okay, there's 3 so far. 4, 5. So I usually do a cup for each one. So 6. I think we'll just add. So like for each, when I make it in the crock pot, I use 2 pounds of meat. And I'll do like 2 cups of pumpkin. So what do we just do now? 6. So we need to at least do 10 cups of pumpkin. I mean, this seems like it's a lot, but once the rice swells up, it's not as much. So we'll do like 4 more cups maybe. That'll probably be the rest of the pumpkin. How wonderful, right? Then we're going to make all this food and use up 1 whole pumpkin that I grew myself. That was so amazing. And it was actually my first time growing pumpkin, so super exciting. Okay, I'm going to pause, chop up the rest, and then we'll be right back. Okay, got a few more cups here. Let's see. Another. So 1, 2, this should be 4. 3, oh yeah, 4. So we're just gonna do it all. All right, and then I've still got probably enough to do like another bag or 2 to put in the freezer for a crock pot batch or 2, maybe 2 crock pot batches. So that's awesome. All that from 1 about medium-sized blue pumpkin. I have 1 little tiny one left. All right, so we're just gonna put the pumpkin and the rice and everything, let it cook so the rice will swell up a little, and then we'll add the carrots, the spinach. I also add, so for 1 crock pot recipe, I'll add 1 can of no salt added green beans. So we'll probably do 4 or 5 cans in this one then. 5 would be about right. They smell it, so they're all in here. All in here under my feet. Okay, we're going to let that cook for like, I don't know, a good 20 minutes, and I'm going to chop up the rest of this pumpkin and put it in freezer bags. And we'll be back. All right. So the sun is on this side now. It's been a while. Maybe it's hard to see what you guys can see here. The sun is shining right in the window. Okay, I think it's been about 40 minutes, 30 or 40 minutes, not too long. And you know brown rice takes longer to cook than white rice. Whoops. Stepping on the... Yeah, see, it hasn't started swelling yet. But that's okay. It swelled up a tiny bit. So maybe we could chop the meat a little more. And then go ahead and add the rest of the stuff, because it's got it all cooked down. And then we're going to go outside and transplant some seedlings that are ready to go. Hopefully you guys can see everything. Yeah, I'm going to try to chop it a little more. No, I think it's still got too much liquid. Got carpal tunnel bad, so... Yeah. I think what we'll do is just go ahead and add the other stuff. I can always chop up the meat pieces smaller when I feed the dogs. Okay, so we're going to add some shredded carrots, some broccoli slaw, and that's got broccoli, carrots, and cabbage. And Dr. Jones, he put Swiss chard in his, so I'm going to grow some rainbow Swiss chard and for the dogs and the chickens this year. And the rainbow chard's so pretty. Still a piece of pumpkin. All right, broccoli slaw. So it's about a bag and a half because I used some. There was some pumpkin left, so I put it all in the freezer. And there was half a bag of carrots, so we're gonna put another one. Usually I put about a half a bag, and this is 5 times that. So we're gonna need what, like 2.5 bags. We'll see if I have more. If not, this will be enough. I mean, it's quite a bit here. That's probably plenty, actually. Okay. This is my first time adding the broccoli slaw. But I think the dogs are going to love it. They love everything. Okay, I think this is definitely plenty of carrots because the slaw has a little bit too. It's a little hard to stir. Not to get my husband in here. I have carpal tunnel really bad from grooming dogs. And that hurts the wrists. Let me grab some scissors. Aw, puppy. You ate raw pumpkin and now you puked? Poor baby. Okay. We've got some frozen well, it's not frozen anymore. Some chopped spinach. It's been sitting in the sink for a few hours. But you can add it frozen, that's fine. And these are just the Walmart ones. I've got some spinach growing. And I plan to, they're about that big right now. I plan to chop and freeze some for the dog's food specifically. Well, and whatever, if I want to make lasagna or stuffed shells or something like that. And then raw, we can have it in our salads. This is just this bag. Frozen, I think it's 12 ounces. Just frozen chopped spinach. And I don't drain it because, you know, it's okay if it's adding a little liquid. Chimpo wants his food. The old man. He doesn't understand that it's totally not done yet. Hey, buddy, hold on. Hands of the no salt added green beans. All right, let me get this mess out of here. See if my husband will stir that. Now we'll add 4 cans of green beans.
Serious?
Yeah, and the rice still has to swell up.
Right, it's not there. Like, you know.
It's going to be a huge batch.
They are so lucky, I'm just saying.
They're spoiled.
Most people would be like, do that for a dog? Hell no.
Look at her. Well, the bottom ones didn't get chopped really. It's okay. Chimpo wants it, can you tell? Spoiled dogs. Getting my seed packets wet. I just take my knife and kind of go like that and chop them a little. So some of the bottom ones don't totally get chopped. Probably dulling my knife. That one's chopped better than the other two. Okay, one more. I'm thinking it probably still needs a good 30-40 minutes to cook. There's four cans of paper of the no salt added green beans. I'm hoping this year that I can grow some good green beans and maybe can them for us and to add to the dogs. We'll see. Okay, so I'm just going to mix them in a little, put the lid back on until this rice gets fully cooked. And then we'll be ready to put them in jars and get them in the pressure canner. So it's a little bit of a process, but it's going to be shelf stable, yummy food for your dogs. Back on. Let's wipe that down before it burns all over it. Got a big old mess going on. I know, you're all barking at me. Okay. All right. We're going to give it a good hour to really get that rice done. Then we'll be back, and by then we'll be ready to get it in jars. Add water. Once I get it in the jar, I add some water. And we'll be ready to can. So we'll be back in about an hour. All right. So it's cooked overnight. I just left it on keep warm because it was getting late. And now it's getting late again. So I cooked dinner, fed the dogs. My stove's a little dirty, but we're going to get this done. So you don't technically have to sanitize your jars first. I usually will wash them in hot water and do it that way because you just never know what's in them. So I'm going to run them through just some real hot water, and I like to keep the lids wet anyways. I don't know why it's in my head that if the rubber seal's wet, it works better. Maybe it's an old school thing my grandma used to say, because she would put her lids in a boiling pot, which I still do. But today we are not. That one went through the dishwasher. And I'll have to get a lid for that one. Okay, our water's real hot. Just going to rinse them really, really, really well. It's okay if they're a little wet and warm because I had the stuff on warm. So it's a good thing we're kind of heating the jars up a little. And we're going to be adding water, so it doesn't matter if there's a little water. And I'm going to bring I think because it's such a big roaster pan, I'll put some in a bowl. Maybe that would make it easier. But I'll show you guys how it looks once it's all cooked. And like I said, you guys can add less rice or no rice and still pressure can it the same exact way. I do, even if you're going to add no rice though, I still recommend cooking it first just because. Okay, I've got my white vinegar to clean the rims off. We're going to need a paper towel. And let me wipe this down. It's a bit wet here. Getting a little crazy with the water. All right. So we're going to need also a regular canning lid for that other one. And 4 jars are the best lids. And no, I'm not sponsored by anyone. Okay, so let me put some of this in a bowl just to make this, or how about this big giant measuring cup, just to make it easier to get it in here. So let me get a spoon. Oh, I guess I already had a spoon in here, but it's okay. This one's a little easier to get it clean. Okay, so we're also going to add water to this. You don't have to add broth or anything because that would add more salt. So I'm just going to use hot water, which I have in the measuring cup right here. Okay, that sucker's heavy. Okay, so we've got our handy dandy funnel here. We're just going to scoop it in. That's how it looks once it's all cooked. See it? It kind of looks like veggie rice kind of thing. It stinks though. I'm just not a fan of the ground turkey at all. The dogs go crazy though. They are crazy about it. So I'm gonna have to get it skinnier. Like something to push it down with a little. Maybe the debubbler. There we go. I want to push it down so I can get the maximum amount in there. It's like I said, when I open one, I can get it to last about 3 to 4 days because my dogs get it on top of their kibble. But if you were just feeding this, I guess it depends on the size of dog. But mine get about a quarter of a cup on top of their kibble. Well, mixed in actually. But okay, that's probably full enough for this baby. So it's going to take a little maneuvering here. And then fill it. It's not going to take much. Probably take less than that actually. We'll go ahead and debubble. Let me move this over. So in debubbling, you want to get down in there so it's not getting air pockets in there. And it is okay if a little bit of it is above the liquid. We'll just fix it there. And, okay, I'm not going to put the lid on yet because we got to do all of these. So, oh, sticky. Let me rinse my hand off. Gross. Okay, so we'll just set it back here. Move on to the next ones. And we're just going to go down the road like this. And the dogs, even though they just ate, they're all in here. They hear me putting it away and making noise in here with it. Wow, that was one big bowl. It's only 2 jars. Quarts hold a lot. That's why I like doing quarts, because I've got 5 dogs. They don't all eat it. 3 of them do though. Because the puppy the puppy, I've been giving her like 1 tablespoon of it. In with her 2 different puppy foods that she eats. And just to try to get her used to it. Okay, the other one I had a little bit full, so let's see where this one's at. Maybe a little bit more. So let me grab another bowl full. I can't believe how much this big roaster made. Last time I used 15 pounds of meat, but it had less veggies because I didn't have enough of everything handy. So this time I made sure I bought everything ahead of time. I would make sure that it's something your dogs like before you pressure can it. If they don't like turkey, you could do beef. You could do chicken. Um, you can also add, oh, it's heavy. Watch out, pup. You're going to get stepped on. You can also add chicken gizzards, which when I do it in the crock pot, sometimes I do, but I don't like the way they're all um, like real tough. And so they're hard for me to cut, even with a super sharp knife. They are hard to cut. And they just, ugh. But so I'll just cook them and give them to the dogs, and they love it. They love them. I know that organ meats are healthy for them, so we do give them that every once in a while. Not in every batch, but a lot of times I order them. Whoops. I order them and they're out of stock. So on Walmart, and I always forget when I'm at the grocery store. Okay, that should be, trying to flatten it in there a little, like I did the other one. Okay, that's about 1 inch of head space. So we don't want much more than that. This stuff is a sticky mess with the rice. Let me just tell you. But the dogs love it. Get on in there. All right. Keep sticking to the spoon. Now, like I said, you don't have to use rice, or you could use less rice. You can use quinoa. Dogs can have quinoa. They can have barley. This is brown rice. They can have white rice, but brown rice has more nutrients in it. So a little more. Don't forget to debubble because this stuff is real thick. So definitely want to debubble. Couple good times. And then I like to flatten that top part. I'm going to add another splash of water. Push that one back. On to the next. I'm going to do the last 2 or 3, and then we'll be back to put them in the canner. Okay, we're back. Got all of them full. Let's get a paper towel. Let's fold it up. Now we want to really clean. I like to get mine pretty wet. Clean the rims really good. I go around the outside too and just really wipe them clean. Put your lid on. Finger tight. Don't tighten. Don't over tighten. We're going to put it right in the canner. Don't be intimidated by the canner if you're new. I was for the longest time and used a electric one first, which I'm glad I started with that one. But now I love this one and barely use the electric one. Okay, let's turn it inside out here. Just really wipe it good. No oil or grease. Okay. What do I got going on here? Okay. Now this one should hold 7 quarts. Whoops. It's really wet on my counter. So you get stuff like that, little stuff. Oh, I forgot I need a lid for this one. Let me set that one back there for a minute and I'll get a band in a sec. Okay. What do we got there? 4? I think I may have made 8. It's supposed to be 7. Whoops. Guess I grabbed one more. That's okay because we're going to make about 7 more and then I'm going to just put them in the fridge. And these are wide mouth, so yeah, they should still fit. Let me grab a band for that one. Okay, I'm going to put that one right in the middle. It says not to put stuff in the middle of your canner. But you know what? I've done it every time and never had an issue. So I put stuff in the middle. I put a jar in the middle. Okay, like I said, we're going to have 1 extra. We'll put that one in the fridge till tomorrow. Okay. There we go. 7 jars. The water's pretty full. I'm going to bring you over to show you that. Hopefully you don't see my messy stove because I just cooked dinner. Oh, I forgot to wipe this one down. Might as well wipe it down. Get a lid on it. And then that one will go in the fridge. Then when I get home from work tomorrow, I'll take them out and let them at least come up to room temperature. Then it will be easier to put them in the canner. Okay. Let's get you where you can see good. Yeah, you can see good. Okay. So we've got our 7 jars in there. I'll show you. The water's up to about the shoulder of the jars. Okay, I'm going to put our lid on. Now it's going to take it a few to come to a boil. We want to make sure this is set to steaming. I don't know if you can see. Do I have it up? Have the camera too low? We want that set to steam. We're going to give it, once it starts to steam, we time it for 10 minutes. Then we turn it to the one for our altitude. And mine's 2,500. So we could go 2 or 3. I usually just put it on 3. All right, so we're going to let it come up to boiling. And once we hear it steaming good, we'll be back. Okay. Let me show you guys. It's got a rapid steam coming up. Whoops, sorry. Rapid steam coming up. So now we want to set the timer. It's actually been going for a couple minutes because I was in the other room. So, but we want to set the timer for 10 minutes. And then we turn it to 2 or 3 for whatever altitude you live in. If you're at 1,000 feet or under, you do 1, 2, 3. So technically we're at 25. So we would do 3. And as you can see, it's not building up pressure yet, but you still don't want to open it, okay? But once we do that, it closes that and it'll start to build up pressure. But it has to vent for 10 minutes. So while it's doing that, I'm going to start jarring up the rest of this stuff to put in the fridge overnight, and then tomorrow I'll have another batch. Let's get this cut into a new batch. New thing of jars. Okay. So I'm going to do 6 because we've already got one here and it holds 7. And hopefully that will take all the rest of this stuff. Okay, 7. And again, I'm going to rinse them out. Hopefully not drop these. Set them in there for a minute. Oh, that one's already full. Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing, rinse these ones. This has got 5 more minutes, so we'll be back